number 42, and today we've got a good panel. We've got a couple of technical difficulties. Sandra can't get her camera to work, and Leslie can't get her mic to work, but hopefully we should be able to figure this out as it goes on. Today we have Sri back with us, Srinavis Parvaraju. How are you doing today, Sri?
Pretty good, thanks, Yuli.
Awesome. I haven't talked to you in a little bit, so I'm excited to get your input on what we have today. It's a topic that's pretty near and dear to your heart there, so I'm excited to get that going. Steve Greenhouse, how are you doing today?
Absolutely awesome, thanks, Early. Lovely to be here as always. Fabulous crowd we've got. Let's bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. I've got you guys have just come back. Both of you have just come back, and I don't know if anybody else on the panel from a pretty big event in Miami that I'm curious to talk about. Maybe just a hair to touch base on that. Jill Humphreys, are you with us yet? I see your face, but no faders. Sandra Lemming from Down Under. How are you doing, Sandra?
Good morning, Yuli. I'm fantastic. I hope everybody else on the panel is fantastic. It's actually 5 a.m. for me, not 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 6 p.m., whatever it is, across the other side of the world. So it's really great to be here and talk to you guys. I'm really keen to hear about the event in Miami as well, so
awesome.
Exciting.
Well, we've got to fit it in with the thread of the conversation. We can't just talk about that. People have come for a specific reason.
Right, no,
I'll
absolutely.
build it in around rewards and adventures.
I think that is pretty relevant to this conversation anyway, if I'm concerned. Leslie Lawler, you're out and about somewhere out there. I see you. Are you able to speak yet? That's a resounding no. So right now we've got a couple of people that are down and one video camera that's not working, but I think that we're going to be able to push through. And we're probably expecting one or two others to pop on here, and we'll deal with that as we always do throughout the Hangout. So, like we were talking about, this is going to be the topic we're going to be discussing today is about victories and celebrating your victories and your successes and your achievements and working with those and kind of setting anchors at those achievements and accomplishments so you can move forward and build whether it's your business, your personal life, your relationships, your finances, whatever it is, your fitness, whatever it is you're working towards, using those accomplishments, whether large or small, in order to anchor that emotion or that feeling and get more success and get more just use out of those emotions. So today we've got a great panel for that, and a lot of these guys are very familiar with success and achievement. So I'm pretty excited to get on with this webinar today or this Hangout today so we can touch base with that stuff. Sri and Steve, you guys have just come back, and Steve, I want to talk to you about this because there was a chance there that, and this ties in a little bit with success and achievements and just drive and determination. There was a small chance there last week where you weren't going to make this event. Is that correct?
No, there was absolutely no chance on Thursday last week. There was no money. There was no accommodation. There was nothing apart from guts and determination. And on Friday, I just put it. That's it. I can't do this. I'm not going to stress about it. I know I'm going. I don't know how I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And even on Saturday night, as I said goodnight to Stuart and said, thanks for a great event, Stuart, because that was Momentum Day. I'll see you in Miami next week. I didn't have a ticket. I didn't have a clue. Monday, I just relaxed, built a new product, put it up for sale, and got the money.
Wow.
I bought the ticket at 12 o'clock, 24 hours before I flew. And if you just keep going, goals will be achieved. You just have to believe. And that is the absolute gospel truth. It wouldn't have happened, however, if Siri hadn't kindly allowed me to sleep on his floor because I couldn't get a room. So it wasn't a floor. He had the hotel put a double Z bed in the room. But if he hadn't done that, I'd have been camping on the grass outside probably, or joining some of the homeless people in the bus shelters. But yeah, if you want to do things, you can make it happen.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that there's two real secrets to success, and you express them both in your story. It's education and determination, and you had them both. You had the knowledge to get to do whatever you needed to do to get to that, and you had the determination to just drive, and you did it.
If I'd had to row, I would have gone in a rowing boat because I needed to be there, and whatever I had to do, I tell you, the week was worth it. It just meeting people face to face. This is a fabulous interaction, but until you meet people face to face and you spend time with them, you don't get to understand their true values. And having said all of that, I've got another call coming in. I'm really sorry. I've got to go.
Okay.
But I'll drop back on as soon as I can if you're still here. But understand that it's not. This is a really important call. Not that this one isn't, but I just have to take this one. So I'll stay tuned in. I'll just mute up and turn the camera off. But
Awesome.
I'll still be here.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, thanks
I'm
for stopping by
sorry.
anyway, Steve, and we look forward to catching up with you.
I'll be with you next week, mate. No fair.
Cool. Thanks, Steve.
Take care. Bye bye.
So Sri, you're one of these people that enjoys, like you've said this in the past a lot, and I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. You look good. Good to see you. You say that you no longer accept challenges or obstacles, and you've had a mindset shift where your challenges no longer are challenges. You just look at them as an opportunity to excel, achieve, grow, and touch base with us a little bit on that, and touch like what's your mechanism to get to that point where, okay, I have an obstacle in front of me, I'm going to conquer that. I'm going to break through that barrier. Like I think that's one of your webinars called Break Through the Barriers, and you're going to get above that, climb that wall, and just succeed. And then not only are you going to succeed, you're going to celebrate that success. Walk us through that process a little bit, if you don't mind.
This is a loaded question. I mean, I'll finish your whole webinar with this answer.
Knock yourself out.
I mean, if you truly believe that something is important to you, then I guess the question you have to ask yourself, or the question I ask myself is, instead of saying, can I do it? I'm asking myself, how can I do it? And as soon as you change the question from can I to how can I, there's no longer an obstacle. If you say can I, it means that there is something that's in your path and you're questioning your ability to go through it or go over it. As soon as you say how can I do it, it is the mindset shift is quite subtle. If you think of it in this manner, I put up a blog post about it recently. Hope you can hear my voice okay.
Yeah, you're perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Imagine you have a stream of water flowing, and then there is this tree that's kind of hovering over it on the riverbed, and then a leaf drops from it and falls into the river, the flowing stream. There's two ways to it. You can look at it from your own life's perspective. One, are you the stream on which this leaf has fallen and you're still going your course? Or are you the leaf that's fallen into the stream and going somewhere without knowing where you're going? So who do you want to be, the stream or the leaf? As soon as you consider yourself as the stream, there is no obstacle. You're still doing what you're doing. Life happens to you, but it's not going to stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. But if you're the leaf, and if that's what your mindset is, then life happens to you and you're completely out of control because you've just given up your control. So that mindset shift is crucial for you to succeed. And as soon as you start asking your question, how can I do something? Just as Steve mentioned, he put up a product and made money. On September 1st, I did a webinar, and I had no clue what the outcome was going to be, but I knew I'm going to deliver value. I had 20 registrants. 10 of them paid for it. I made $10,000 to make this Miami trip happen. And that's how I was in the Miami trip. Otherwise, there was no way I was going to make to Miami.
Awesome.
So you just have to think. I mean, you have the power. Every single person who is watching this webinar, you have the power to create everything out of nothing. And if you can believe that you can do, because I believe you can, I have done it myself. If you can do that, you have basically created your own destiny. And that's how I break through barriers, because to me, there's no barriers to break through.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's the ability to, like when you're that leaf, you're just flowing, you're just letting the tide carry you away, and a lot of people live that way. They live by default. They just kind of show up, and that's where they are, and regardless of what happens, they're just going to have to do that, and they react to it. So instead of being proactive and making things happen, or at least laying your roots, laying your foundation, and being in charge of what's going to happen to you, things are going to happen anyway, but having the ability to put yourself in a position that's going to give you the most likely path to success is a difference between how can I, or am I going to be able to, and how can I? Like you were saying before, it's quite subtle, but it's pretty dramatic at the same time. You know, it's a can do. It's like, can I do it, or how am I going to do it? And that's something that a lot of people struggle with daily, even with the simplest things in life, let alone being able to come, you know, like Steve, fly over from London to Miami in a moment's notice based on a couple of, you know, some education that he had, the ability to do it, and the drive and the determination to get it done. And that's the ability to do it. And then apparently the celebration was forthcoming as well, because I saw some really good pictures of you guys over the weekend. Sandra, where are you?
Turn black, I guess.
What's that, Sri?
That was the carrot we were trying to dangle for people to turn black.
Yeah, that is a very good carrot. It made me quite hungry, that's for sure. Just even being in Miami, I love that place. Sandra, where do you stand on all of this as far as, you know, overcoming obstacles in order to succeed, and the determination, the education, the discipline, everything it takes to you're gonna be in a black mode here for a little bit, but I'll switch it back and forth. Can you hear me, Sandra?
I can hear you.
Awesome. So what do you think?
Well, firstly, I think it was really exciting listening to Steve and Sri talk about, you know, their achievement of managing to get to the black event, which was, you know, obviously very, very important goal for both of them. And I just found it really exciting listening to them talk about, you know, how they just continued to push forward. They didn't allow themselves to believe that they weren't going to get there so that they could quit and just not do anything. They just kept, right up to the last minute, they just kept believing and telling themselves that they were going to be there, and they took the action, they rolled up their sleeves, they got in there, they did the hard work, and they pushed through, and not for a minute did either of them actually really truly believe that they weren't going to be there. The whole time they really believed, and I think that sort of falls into line with a lot of the victories I've had in my life. I've never, when I've really, really allowed myself to believe that I'm going to, you know, accomplish something, I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to have something that I really want, I've never let myself believe that anything else was possible. Even if, you know, physically people could see, you know, or I could see that the money wasn't there, or the distance was too far, or, you know, too short a time or whatever, you know, I was the same as Sri and Steve. I never allowed myself to not believe that it was going to happen. I always, you know, always just kept forging forward with the total belief that, you know, yes, I'm going to be there. Don't know how I'm going to be there, but I'm going to be there. Don't know how, and it was the same when I started, you know, wanted to start my aloe vera business. You know, I mean, because the company that supplies and manufactures the product that I sell, you know, they've been in the industry, the health and beauty industry for over 30 years, and their share of the market is huge. But still, in saying that, you know, a lot of people doubted my choice of product that I was going with, and said, you know, oh look, you know, the usual things that everyone says to you, you know, the negative things, and I'm not going to go into what they are because, you know, they're just a normal common fact of life. But not for 1 minute did I allow that to become my belief, and I just kept, you know, I kept totally believing. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I became a member of the SFM, the Six Figure Mentors, and I knew their training was going to help me find a way to get there. But, you know, many times I did not know how I was going to do it. I just knew that I was going to do it. So I would just roll up my sleeves and do it. But, you know, it was funny because on Facebook the other day, and I was having trouble with Skype at the time, I put up a status, a picture of a duck, and because it just, everything came together and reminded me of an old saying that my nan taught me when I was really, really little and going through a really bad stage. And she said, you know, you just got to remember that it's all just water off a duck's back. And when I was a kid, she explained to me that, you know, ducks have this special oil over their feathers from pruning and stuff. And can you all still hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Yep. And, and so when they dive in underneath the water to catch the fish and stuff and come back up and step out of a pond and stuff, they're not actually wet because the water just slides off them. So it just rolls off their back. It doesn't sit there and pool, and they don't get wet and heavy, and otherwise they drown. And she said, so that's the way you've got to deal with all these negative things that are coming to you in life. No matter what nasty things people say to you, no matter how many times people put you down, no matter how many times you think the chips are down, you just got to put your shoulders back, hold your head high, and you just say to yourself in your own mind, it's just water off a duck's back. And I sort of lived by that for a huge portion of my life. It's just water off a duck's back, and it really is just a little saying and a little lesson that was taught to me that has really helped me not really see anything as a failure or not getting there, but more to see it all as a victory. Even if it hasn't worked out completely the way I pictured it or wrote it down on paper, they're all victories, and I celebrate every tiny little victory I have every day.
Yeah, that's a powerful message. I mean, you have to believe that these are, number one, they're your beliefs, and they aren't anybody else's. And there's going to be a ton of people. We've talked about this in other webinars and other Hangouts, where there's always going to be people holding you back, and unfortunately, they think it's for the right reason, but they're actually holding you back, and it's making you doubt your belief. And once you start doubting your belief, you really start to sway and go in the opposite direction. So it's very powerful to realize that you have to. Once you believe in something, if you really truly believe it, whether it's a product or a service or just anything, if you really truly believe in it, you have to stick with it, and you can't let anybody deter you from that. And even that alone, like you just said, even that, winning that little bit, even keeping your beliefs straight, is a victory, and that should be celebrated, and that's going to anchor your belief system a little more and a little further down the road. So a lot of those, your belief and your celebrating that the fact that you just accomplished that is very powerful. Jill, are you with us yet, Jill, or kind of here? She's kind of there. And Leslie, I'm assuming you're still off the grid. I hear a couple things. But yeah, I'm a strong believer. Oh, hey, Jill, how are you? Whoa. You're kind of coming through. I think she's frozen.
I heard a couple words.
Say it, Jill. I think she's muted, and I can't figure out. I can't unmute her. She has to unmute herself. Well, she'll get there. She'll figure it out. But again, celebrating even the smallest victories is extremely important, based on the fact that every time you set, like a lot of people, even in the online marketing industry or any other industry, especially in sales, if a lot of people make a sale, whether it's their first sale or their last sale or a small sale, and they always automatically start sabotaging that victory. They start to, oh, it's just a $20 sale, or it's just a small sale. Oh, it took me so long to get to this point. I can't believe I got all this way, and all I got was this one sale. Instead of saying, wow, instead of changing that mind shift altogether and congratulating themselves for that sale, celebrating for that sale, and just enjoying that moment for what it is, and it's achievement. It's an achievement. It's accomplishment. It's a success. So you have to treat it that way. You can't sabotage it by going against it and talking negatively and putting a negative annotation into what you just accomplished. You ever get that from anybody, Sri? Do you ever hear that from one of your clients or any of your customers or people you deal with in general?
There is some phone in, but it is important to celebrate your victories. There is no such thing as a small victory. Everything is huge. I mean, life is supposed to be a series of victories. Every single moment that we live is a celebration. So if you get true tangible victories that you can celebrate, might as well do it. I mean, who is responsible for saying this is small, this is big, this is worth celebrating, this is not worth celebrating. As soon as we have those filters in, we'll end up chasing something constantly without truly appreciating what we. It's a sense of being grateful for what we have, I guess, in a sense. That attitude of gratitude. That's quite important.
I read something today that said, how can you expect, if you're not grateful for what you have right now, how can you expect to be happy when you get more? So just like you're saying, who's to say that this victory is a small one, this is a big one? Who made that gauge? Who filtered that into your system? Where it's like even in baseball, and I don't know who's familiar with baseball here. I know we're from all over the world, but a single is just as good as you celebrate a single just as much as you would have celebrated a double or a triple or any football. Every time you move 2 yards, it's a celebration. Sometimes they only moved 6 inches, and everyone's going crazy. But 6 inches is 6 inches closest to your goal. So there always needs to be some aspect of achievement and knowing where you're going, and as long as you set that milestone, whether it's small or big in your eyes, like you said, Sri, everything is a huge accomplishment. Just celebrate it that way. Why not? What's the harm in that? Jill, I see her, but every time I click on her, she's gone. She goes away. See no, hear no. Boo.
I have a really slow access.
Oh, that was close. That was close, Jill.
Are you talking to us from Mars, Jill?
I think I'm coming in about 2 minutes after I've spoken.
Now we can hear you all right.
Huh. Well, that's too bad. It seems like everyone's having a little difficulty getting on today. Maybe it's all. I don't know if you guys are all from. I don't think you're all in the same area by any means, but oh well. I guess we will continue to move forward. Okay, Sandra. So I know we talked a little bit about how everything's a victory. How you celebrate things. What are some small things? Like last week, we had Chris on, and he was talking about Chris Gore, and he was talking about how he celebrates a sale. He does a little victory dance. What are some small little things that kind of help you adjust and set an anchor for those victories? What are some of the things that you do to kind of celebrate your victories?
Well, I think it's important for a lot of people who are listening, who have gotten into the lifestyle habit of rescinding to negativity, or allowing failure and negativity to become a habit in their life. I think it's important for us to let them know, especially people who are finding success, people who are happy in life, people who are celebrating little victories like you and Steve and myself and Jill and Leslie and certainly Sri. I think it's important that we let them know that it all starts with obviously your mindset, how you perceive yourself, how you perceive the world around you. And then I think a big part of it is the gratitude, being grateful, allowing yourself to be grateful for the fact that, when you wake up, when you go to sleep and then you wake up, you've slept and you're awake, you're breathing, you're now breathing fresh air. You now have another full day to look forward to where you can smile, you can cry, you can feel, you can hug your loved ones, you can talk to your friends, you can, take action and do things in your life, So I think the first thing people need to start doing is feeling that they're alive and being grateful that they are actually alive and they have that ability and they have that right to, start the day with either joy, sadness, or just in zombie land where they used to be, which is where society seems to want to keep everybody, is in this zombie land where nobody seems to know that they're actually alive and kicking. So I think the first point has to come from being grateful for things in your life that go right every day, like waking up, breathing a breath of fresh air, and if you're somebody who can jump out of bed, if you've got 2 legs, a full body and everything's functioning, if you're somebody who can get up out of bed and walk to the shower and make yourself a cup of coffee, there's some other things that you need to be grateful for, and they're victories that you need to celebrate. Because anything that you have in your physical life as you're alive, I mean, if you have a complete working body from head to toe, and you can wriggle your toes and wriggle your hands and do everything, you should celebrate that. That's a victory. And you don't know how long in life you're going to have that for. And there are a lot of people out there in the world who have lost that ability to either use their legs or use their arms or use both their legs and arms, and be able to take care of themselves. So everything you can do for yourself in life is a victory, and you should celebrate that. So just start by celebrating life each and every day, celebrating the fact that you have the ability in a new day to, be better than you were the day before, no matter what your circumstances. Be someone who can, if you said something bad to someone you loved yesterday and you didn't fix that by the end of the day and you've woken up the next day, be grateful and consider that it's now a victory that you can go to that person and you can change, how they feel and how you feel about what was said the day before. You can say something nice. You can apologize for that, and you can make life a happy, a happy thing. So, I mean, when I first started my aloe vera business online, I mean, yeah, sure, there was a lot of times there I didn't know how I was going to pull it off. I wanted to retire from taxis, and and the day that I said, that's it, I'm not driving a taxi anymore, I'm not doing another shift, and I didn't renew my license, I wasn't pulling in big bucks off the internet. It wasn't like, I'd open my laptop and all this money would spew out like an ATM machine. I was still virtually in the throes of starting a business. But, and it was scary. Yeah, it was scary. But I did it, I did it just with persistence and hard work. So when I would construct an ad and I would, put an ad up, whether it was on Facebook or, a Bing ad or a Yahoo ad or, whatever type of ad I was doing, even though my first lot of ads were not fantastic, they were not professional by any means. I mean, professional people probably would have looked at my ads and laughed and thought, won't get anything out of those. But for me, just to get that ad together and have it accepted by advertising companies and have them take my money and put my ad up there, that was exciting. That was a victory for me because I'd never done that before, and I haven't been to university and had any, professional training in copywriting or, how to bring pictures and words together to tell a story to a customer. I knew hardly anything. I just, put together a basic, just basic ads like I would see on TV or something. They weren't even that professional, but they worked. They brought people to who I was in my business, and the interested people, the people who really wanted to hear the message that I was telling and buy the products that I was selling, they still bought. They didn't care that my ad wasn't the best, most professional ad out there. The fact that they were happy about was they had come across a product that they were looking for, and they now had access to it, and they had now had the ability to purchase it. So I celebrated, I guess I even celebrated what some people would call a failure. If I do things and they don't exactly turn out right, a lot of people will call that a failure. I don't actually look at that as failure. I mean, I go, okay, well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out, and I look for the silver lining on the back end of that.
Yeah, that's an important thing.
So no matter what I'm doing through the day, and how good or bad it turns out, I just try and flip it on its head and look for the silver lining on the back end of it. There's always a silver lining, and so I guess I celebrate everything. I celebrate the fact that I'm alive. I celebrate the fact that I can laugh. I celebrate the fact that I have people who love me, and and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for all the possibilities in life and all the chances that I have to do things. I celebrated the very first day I got a website up. And I celebrated. That was a victory for me, and I celebrated and was grateful for the training from the business community in the SFM that helped me do that. And I mean, I run around the house just for tiny little things. I can sell a $10 product off my website store, and I get an email for that. If I look in my email box each day and there's even if it's just an email for just a $10 product, I'll run around the house going, woohoo! I feel good. And I mean, people think I'm nuts, but you've got to celebrate the wins, no matter how big or small. I mean, if you happen to bump a cup off the cupboard and you manage to catch it before it hits the floor, well, jump up and down and dance and go, oh, damn, I'm good. I just saved that from breaking on the floor. I am so good.
That a lot.
I mean, have a bit of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that when I drop a glass and I catch it before it hits the ground. I do a little dance, and I'm also extremely excited that my hands are still that fast, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to drop them now and break. But out of all that, the one thing I really do a dance with is every time I get an ad approved by Facebook. When it says your post has been a privacy ad manager, that's one of those moments where you're just like, oh my God, I think I'm finally getting a hang of it, and then that should be something that you concentrate on and focus on with more expression, because it really is an educational threshold that you hit every time you can't get an ad approved. That really jeopardizes your business big time. So that's very important to do. I like it.
Hi, I think I might be back.
Leslie!
Oh, hello, Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Hi.
Finally, what happened there?
I had to change computers, and and then I couldn't remember the new password. So yes, challenging, but we've got that.
Well, you should be doing a happy dance then.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Leslie, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm really good, thank you.
How was your holiday? You had a pretty big vacation recently, huh?
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, from Momentum Day, and the next day we go on holiday, it was, incredible, absolutely incredible. So what a great start to a holiday. It'd have been really nice if we'd have been going to Miami, obviously, with Sheree and Steve and all the others. But, that's, it was in my head. And that's the main thing. I've been thinking seriously about it, and we're definitely going to be on the next one. And I think, tonight is a really good subject, and I've got to say that Sandra picks up on a lot of things that are very important to me, which is the small things in life that people just take for granted. While I've been away on holiday, you have a lot of time for reflection and thinking about how grateful we are and have been through our lives. We've been able to go to this beautiful place in Menorca for most of my life, and you do go through parts of your life where you take things just for granted. But there's one thing that I've learned a lot by this business, and well, I think since last year, really, since I came across the secret of actually appreciating every little thing that happens, because, in somebody's life would have been destroyed by something today, and I'm able to, still go into my kitchen and make my cup of tea because we've been given an electric, and lots of people have had bad news today. And you think how lucky you are that you're the one that's able to carry on your life. And you have got to remember how important the little things. And I don't know whether you remember me first ever coming on here, and I said that one of the most important things to me is to go to the little farm shop up the road and buy my organic food from there. And that's still high on a priority list where I can go there and, well, actually I won't go there. I shall be ordering them and they can come to my door. But those things are really important. I think that people should realise that it isn't just about making, you know, a lot of money. It's making money that will help you with your life, no matter how big or small those things are. You know, this journey is a learning curve for all of us in our own different ways. And for me, I quite like a lot of simple things, but I do like travelling, which obviously, you know, does cost a lot of money, and that is high on my priority list as well. But getting the simple things in life, like Sandra was pointing out, how important those are, and realising how important they are now, and I think that's nice.
Yeah, we do take a lot for granted, even the simple things. Like, I'm getting some weird glare from my window. Finally, it's sunny out, but I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just, if you're wondering why there's ghostly shadows everywhere, that's why the sun is piercing through my windows right now. See, look at that. It's like I have fake light, but it's not. It's the sun. Finally, now it's hunting me down. I'm excited. We take
I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what's happening.
From this angle, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's almost like you're making an animated video for us, or, you know, a sci-fi thing.
Maybe I can be. You never know. Let's see.
Woohoo!
No. And we take everything for granted, like Sandra was saying. Even the ability to get out of bed, jump out of bed, go jump in the shower, and go to a job that you have. Even if you do have a job, there's millions of people who don't have a job, so we should be grateful for that. Even if we don't like our job, just be grateful for the fact that you're going to work to get paid, so you can get the things that you actually need in life and support your family and your friends. Even though you're not necessarily happy with your job, at least be happy with the fact that you have one.
That's right.
Like Sandra said, find a silver lining in everything. You have to be able to find a silver lining in everything, because if not, it's a lot easier to get sucked into the black cloud. And like Jill's working hard here to get on this call, and I appreciate that a lot. And I have a feeling she will get on here. But, you know, just appreciate all those little things that a lot of people take for granted, and then just doing that little bit will put you far ahead of everyone else in the world of the attitude of gratitude. Just being able to use your feet to get to the shower. I mean, when I'm sore from either a ride or from a workout, and I can't use my legs because I'm so hurt, that, you know, I take that for granted, that when I'm not sore or something, I can do it effortlessly. So I don't ever think about that while times are good, but when times aren't good, you really struggle with the things that you had. You don't know what you had until it's gone. So
that's true, and it's so important to appreciate the fact. I mean, in the I read a book called The Magic. It's by Rhonda Byrne, and then that's one of the it's a 28-day sort of challenge for you, and you've got to write things down, and you have to write 10 things that you appreciate that day, 10 things that you're grateful for that day, and then the next day you have to write 10, and then you have to read them out to yourself. And that really made me sort of appreciate the things that are around me. You know, that we've got beautiful skies, whether they're, you know, sometimes they might be grey or raining or snowing or something, but we have got them. And in actual fact, we have got, majority of people on this panel anyway have got eyesight, so they can actually see that, because there's such beautiful sights that, and me, but there's beautiful sights and scenery that, you know, some people would never see. So be grateful that you actually can see them, and it's nice to be able to understand as well, which is why you're so grateful for these things. It's not just saying, yeah, well, I'm grateful. You've got to understand why you're grateful for them. It's like I always say, I'm grateful for electricity because it makes my cup of tea in the morning, which I love. So without that, you know, we wouldn't have, you know, my nice cup of tea every morning. So it's important to be grateful for the small things first, and the big things will come. And it's also believing in it as well. like Sri was saying, it's believing it that it's absolutely true, and there's no going back.
Yeah, a big thing, which what you were just saying just kind of made me think about is, and I can't remember whose quote this is. It's when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yeah.
And I'm a strong believer in that. Like I can walk into, like sometimes I can walk into my house and be like, oh, my house is so little, it's dirty, it's messy. And sometimes the same house and the same way it is, I can walk in and be extremely grateful, and I think it's the best house in the world. So it's just by changing the way I looked at it, just by changing that mindset just a little bit, it's completely changed how the actual appearance of something is. And it's the same way with people. When you look at somebody and you start judging somebody and you start picking out their weaknesses and their flaws, it changes the way you see them, especially if you come back to that same person and now you start thinking about the things that you're grateful about. And, oh my God, she's so beautiful, or she's so nice, she does this, she can do this. That person in the way you see that person, the actual physical embodiment of that person actually changes, which is it's a remarkable. I don't know how it works, but it's really something else. It really does work, and it's you just have to change the way you look at things, and everything around you will just start to change. And that's a magnet. I can't remember who said that. Does anybody know who says that? You guys heard that, right? Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I can't remember who's actually said that, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's a big quote that I love to repeat to myself and just take use of it and make sure that I'm using it properly, because there are so many things out there that can instantly change in your eyes if you just start thinking of them differently.
If you start looking at them in a different way, instead of a negative way.
Yeah, because we're so easily drawn into that. It's so much easier to be drawn into negativity because that's what a lot of people around you are doing. I mean, most of our, this whole success and achievement and celebrating victories, it has a lot to do with our environment. I forgot what I was listening to. I was listening to maybe a little Tony Robbins moment today or something where he was talking about how, all of our colleagues and our friends and most of the people around us, they're in our lives based on our environment. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best for us to get to where we want to be in life. Sometimes you have to make that decision and say, okay, this person is holding me back. I love this person, but this person's holding me back. They're surrounded by negativity, and I'm not saying you have to completely put them out of your life, but you should start surrounding yourself with a more positive environment. If that's what you're looking for, if you're looking to succeed, if you're looking to grow, you have to surround yourself. Your environment has to change, and you need to submerge yourself in a positive environment if that's how you expect to achieve your reality and your success in life. Because some people will hold you back, and oh my gosh, the sun is awesome. I don't know what's going on. Give me one second. Hold on. Sorry. Let me see if I can change that. Okay.
I thought it looked really cool.
I think it looks really cool. So, I mean, that's a big thing with the way we with success and achievements and even celebrating, not putting things down and not looking at things judgmentally instead of looking at things on a positive light is the environment. So what do you feel about your environment, Sandra? How do you control your environment other than locking yourself in a room and just being by yourself?
Look, environment is very, very important in your life. And I mean, when we say the word environment, a lot of people will be thinking of it on a different level to what we're thinking of it on. But for even for that level, environment is really, really important. And the environment we're talking about is not so much the quality of the structure of the house or the caravan or the tent that you may be living in. But more along the lines of the type of people that you're keeping around you. I mean, say you grew up in a family of people that just lived off a government system, and never strived or had any ambitions to be anything more than what the government system, welfare system or whatever allowed them to be. And you were born into that as a child, and you grew up with that. But as you grew up, maybe you had the chance to meet one or two people in your life that resonated and inspired you, and you thought, well, you know, I want to be like them and get out of the situation that I'm in. You know, it could have even been a book that you read or a movie that you watched or a song that you heard. And you grow up, you know, and when you get to young adulthood life, you know, you're still living in the same physical conditions that, you know, you were born into as you know, as a, you know, a child to a family that just didn't aspire to do anything. So, you know, so yeah, you may have just a caravan or you may have just a tent, but you have a job, and, you know, you have, or you know, you have a way forward. You have in your head a vision of the way forward. It doesn't matter what the look of your home is. It really, really doesn't. It's all to do with the way you perceive things around you. So, you know, if you're starting out in a caravan park and you're envying everybody with a, you know, with a house or a flat, you know, or a structure that has 4 walls and a roof, you know, you're not going to end up getting to that vision, because you're envious of the people who have had to work hard to get there or who are there. And so because of that envy, you're going to start attracting people who are of the same feeling, of the same envious feeling of the world and other people. And so you'll attract a lot of things that will hold you down, things that will make you feel bad, things that will lock you into that envious feeling. And it's the same when you allow something negative into your life, no matter how small it is. It could just be driving home from work and getting a flat tire. If you see that as negative and you allow that negative to actually get inside your bones, to jump inside of your soul, from that moment onwards, for the rest of the day, all you will start to notice is negative stuff. You know, you will just seem to attract negative stuff. You know, yeah, you might fix a tire on your car, but because you've allowed a negative thought to jump in and take over your bones and your soul and your heart, you know, as you're driving home, you know, the car will probably start to overheat. You'll notice people who cut you off. You'll get angry at people who cut you off. You'll be stuck at a set of traffic lights that will break down, and you know, everything will go wrong. You will just start to head towards disaster. And, you know, and even by the time you get home into your driveway, you know, the key will break off in the door, and, you know, or you'll stub your toe coming in the door, you know, you'll burn the dinner, you'll drop something. It will just go from, you know, it's like an avalanche in the snow. Yeah, it may start off as just the tiniest little drop, but then it just builds and just comes cascading down in a huge thunderous sound, and you're helpless. You're just standing there watching it, and waiting and going, oh, I wish I was dead. I wish I was dead. So your environment is really, really important. It is so very important. And I mean, you know, a lot of the times, you know, close family and close friends are such a hard part of your environment, because whenever, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're starting a business, say you have a job and you know you're not going to go any further in that job than that position that you're at, but you know that you want a better life for yourself, and you have to find a way to increase your financial income, to, you know, increase your financial standing so you can have the better life that you want. But you know for a fact that you're not going to get any further in that job that you have. So you start looking around, you know, generally the first thing people do is they start looking around for a better paid position, a different job. You know, your close family and friends will be negative towards that, because they'll have a fear of the unknown, and they don't want you to step across that boundary into the unknown, because they're fearful for what may happen to you. It's not because they don't love you. I mean, well, some of them it will be. Some of them they won't want to see you succeed. But you have to learn to recognize that. You have to learn to accept that. And you also have to challenge yourself to not feel hurt or sad that somebody who loves you could feel that way towards you, where they just want to sabotage your life. You can't allow yourself to feel hurt, scarred, fearful, or angry or upset about that. You have to embrace that and go, such a shame that, such and such is that way. That is just such a shame. And at this point in time in my life, I don't have the skills where I can help that person. So what I must do is I must isolate myself. I must take myself out of the picture. Now, that doesn't mean you have to say to them, oh, you're a horrible person, you just want to hold me back and I never want to speak to you again, ever, ever, ever again, and create a big rift in your family. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, readjust your habits in your life and what you do. If you would normally see a lot of that person, well, you don't want to see a lot of that person because that person is going to hold you back. They're going to cripple your dreams. So, change what you do over daytime, change what you do over a week, change what you do over a month, so that your schedule has now changed, so that you don't have to physically be in, with that person regularly, but it doesn't even appear to the rest of the family that you're purposely trying to avoid them. It just appears to everybody else that, who know that you want something better for your life, who support you. To them it's like, oh no, look, they're just really, really busy. Things are looking really great. They've managed to find a better job than what they had. Now they're just working on a promotion. There are ways around things without just saying to somebody, you are a horribly negative person. Now step out of my life and never speak to me again. You do that and you're just going to whack negativity into yourself anyway.
Yeah,
not really a great way to do it.
Then there's anxiety and bad feelings and everything else brought up. But you brought a good point up that a lot of people don't actually want to see you succeed. A lot of people want to, not necessarily see you fail. They don't want to see you go the opposite direction, but they don't really want to see you succeed. And I find that there's a lot of people out there like that, and you're never going to truly be successful in life until you can actually start celebrating other people's success. Even if it's your competition, I know a lot of people like to see their competition fail, and a lot of people like to see people go out of business so they can take over. I get that, I understand that. That's just business, this is capitalism, that's the way it works. But you're never going to be really truly, like if I felt bad every time that one of you guys succeeded or made a big sale or was able to excel to the next position or the next level, and I was feeling jealous, or if I was feeling upset, or if I was like, oh God, I wish something would happen to them, I wish their computer would shut down so they can't do this anymore. You're never going to succeed unless you can feel success for other people. Even if it's people you don't like, you have to feel you have to express that gratitude of success for everybody, because we're in a world of abundance, just like Sandra was saying. Whether it's good or bad, the law of attraction works in either direction. And the second you start thinking negative things about somebody's success, your subconscious mind is going to pick up that, oh, this person just doesn't like success. They don't know it's your subconscious mind doesn't pick up that it's your success or somebody else's success. It's just picking up that, oh, you're opposed to success. I'm going to keep you away from success. I'm going to work in the other direction. There's your subconscious mind doesn't pick up on right or wrong. It just picks up on what you're thinking of. If you're thinking of no success, no success, no success, whether it's for someone else or for yourself, it's going to assume that's what you're trying to attract, and it's going to go to work getting you no success. And that might sound stupid or hokey pokey or too mystic for you, but that's the way I believe, and that's just my opinion. You can take it however you like if you're watching. But I believe that if you're not happy for anybody else's success, you're not going to achieve that success. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm sorry about that. A lot of people talk about wealth and the filthy rich, and they have this negative thing towards money because they were growing up like, oh, we don't have, money doesn't grow on trees, we can't afford this, we can't afford that, rich people are evil, rich people, money's the root of all evil. When you start thinking poorly about wealthy people and you start thinking poorly about the rich, you'll never be wealthy, successful, or rich, because your subconscious mind is just picking up on your negativity towards money. So it works towards getting you lack of money. Your lack and your desperation and your negativity is going to keep you away from that. So every time somebody does something well, like you see somebody that is successful, somebody that does something right, somebody just bought a new house, even somebody you don't like just bought a new house and they're happy. You don't have to be outwardly excited for them, but just be like, good for them. Say that to good for them. I'm glad they're finding happiness. I'm glad they're able to do that. Because then you're going to start seeing a difference in the way your success starts approaching you. You're going to start seeing things in a different way because you're going to get followed up with, all of a sudden people are going to be coming to you, oh, I'm glad you were able to do that. Oh, I'm glad that worked out for you. Oh, I'm glad you won that race. You can't always, you have to have, it's good sportsmanship and it's just good. It's a good rule of thumb to be happy and celebrate everybody's success. You don't have to be outwardly ecstatic about it. You don't have to be like, woo, my competition just took that job from me. But at least be like, there's more jobs out there. There's more work out there. There's plenty of work. There's plenty for everyone. I'll get the next one. Congratulations, I'll get the next one. I'll win the next race. I'll get that next big contract. So you always have to keep that in mind to not want, don't show any negativities to somebody else's success. Always appreciate the success. If nothing else, at least appreciate the success and the abundance that there is more out there and that everyone can get their piece of the pie. Does that make any sense, or was that too hokey pokey?
No,
that's
great sense.
Yeah, very sense. I mean, abundance is for everyone. So, and there's plenty of it out there. You don't want to hold yourself down by your own negative thoughts. Hey, Leslie.
No, because I think we don't need other people doing that, really, do we? We can do that ourselves sometimes. So if you get in that state, I think that you've got to snap yourself out straight away, because I used to say to my girls when they were growing up, and still do, if you haven't got anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all.
Right. If nothing else, just don't say anything. Right.
Exactly. Just don't say anything. If you haven't, because when they, what kids are like, they can be nasty to each other. And I used to think that, people are nasty outside these four walls. We don't really need any nastiness in the house. And so I was never, I wasn't brought up like that. It's just that I quickly realised that I didn't want them being horrible to each other. When kids are horrible anyway. But I think with regards to family and friends, the way I've sort of dealt with that is I just don't really say anything to anybody. If they ask me how the business is going, I just say, yeah, really good, thank you. Because to be very honest, you can, I don't mean to be, and I probably won't say this in the right way, but because we have grown now in our minds, we've grown because we're reading a lot of positive, books, and we're speaking to, and our mindset is changing, that I can't be bothered to try and explain how things work and listen to why this is not going to work for me. So I've only got a couple of people that I personally would speak to this about, because they think it's great that I'm doing something, and they believe in it and they believe in me. So that's the only people that I would speak to. With regards to anybody else, I just choose not to speak to them with regards to what I do. Because
the best defense, and that's controlling your environment. That's, if you're not, if you're careful on who to talk to, because that person is going to give you grief about something, that person is going to give you, like, you can't do that, you can't lose 90 pounds. You have a group of friends that all you do is drink beer and eat buffalo wings, and one of them steps out of that box and says, hey, I want to try to lose weight because, I want to lose 90 pounds and I want to stop drinking beer and I just want eating better. The 5 or 6 guys in that group are all going to be like, that's stupid, that's gay, you're being awful, don't do that. One guy in that group is that person you're going to be able to talk to and consult with and be like, all right, let's try to do this together. But the rest of the group, they don't want you out of that group. They think that they'll lose you forever. So
that's right.
You have to control that. You have to control that environment by being specific on who you talk to, because you're only inviting negativity talking to people who you know. You're not going to convince them. You're not going to change their mind. You know.
But some people don't want to. With regards to other things in life, I mean, we've been juicing. We started about a month ago, and I spoke about it previously. And you know, we've been away and obviously not able to juice, but I found a lot of really good information with regards to juicing for people, and all the supplements as well that you could purchase and put into your juices that help people, the same as what Sandra does really with her aloe vera, and that help people with, you know, like psoriasis and you know, even thyroid problems. But it's really strange because people would still just rather take medication. I mean, you know, if I never saw any medication in my life, I just dislike medication. I mean, I know some people have to take it. My dad has to take a certain amount, but I'm always wanting to try the natural route first. And it's really strange how people just, they've not even read about it, and they just, oh no, I'm going to take I'm going to take these thyroid tablets. I've been taking them for years. And I said, look, I think it would be worth you reading about it because it's natural. It's better for your body, and you know, is it not worth just reading about it? No, no, no. And I just find it really strange how people just don't want to know. And I mean, it's not just this business; it's just in life. They've been doing something for such a long time, and they're not. I mean, I'm always researching something, but I always have done. I like researching things. I like find out about new things that you can take that make you healthier. And but some people are just happy to go to the doctors and just get a prescription and go and take tablets for the rest of your life.
It's easier. It's easier. It's comfort. They're in a comfort level where they're like, all right, they tell me it's right. It's the thing to do. I've been trained to listen to other people. I can't trust myself. How am I going to trust? You know, it's a comfort level. I think that people just get drawn into and get sucked into, and that gives them that opportunity to just, their followers are not leader. You know, but still, you're not going to convince them either way. You know, you bring it up and you say, hey, you know, take a look at this. Nah, I'm okay. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
And I think taking the doctor's prescription, you know, the people who go to the doctors all the time just to get the pills, you know, I think it's also, you hit the mark there, Yuli, when you said comfort. You know, I think it is a lot to do with comfort because, you know, and that's why they won't listen to people like Leslie and myself who are showing them that there are other options out there. There are other possibilities out there. You just need to be willing to open up and try them. But I think they stick with the doctor and they don't want to know what you've got to say because it is comfortable for them. And it's like, it's almost as if they go to the doctor, they get their prescription, they take their pills. They don't have to worry if it doesn't work or it only partially works. They don't have to blame themselves. They've got someone else to blame for the situation, so they don't have to blame themselves. So they can blame the pills, or they can blame the people who make the pills, or they can blame the doctor for not prescribing, you know, the right strength of medication. They don't have to actually take control and be physically responsible for themselves. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people are at in life. They've gotten to the stage where they're quite happy to not take responsibility for themselves and who they are, and are much happier and more comfortable leaving the responsibility up to others so they have something or someone or anything else other than themselves to blame for their situation.
Yeah, that's pretty universal. That becomes, you know, it's the lack of self-responsibility and lack of self-accountability, and just the laziness of people saying, well, you know what, if they do it wrong, that's their fault. Then I have some, like you said, have someone to blame. we're going a little bit off tangent, but I think that these are all important because that's one of the ways that you can avoid surrounding yourself with that. You have to be able to recognize your environment, and these are the kind of people that you want to try to avoid if you want to be successful and achieve your goals and build your lifestyle and your dreams the way you're looking to do them. You have to try to avoid the people that are always looking to blame somebody else. They lack self-responsibility. They lack accountability, and they're just out there to, they're in their comfort zone and they don't change. So those are the people, success comes with change, and if you don't have the ability or the willingness to change, then the chances are you're not going to achieve your ultimate goals or your ultimate dreams or your ultimate successes, only for the mere fact that you're going to stay where you are. If you do what you're doing now for the rest of your life, you're going to be exactly where you are for the rest of your life. You have to be adaptable. You have to be able to change. You have to learn and educate yourself and be determined to take that next step. And the people that Sandra and Leslie are talking about don't have that thought process. They don't have that mindset. They're comfortable where they are. They don't want change. I've done it this way my whole life, and I'm fine. Okay, yeah. Sure you are. I'm doing it this way, and I'm going to be better. So that's kind of, it's an adaptability rule, and it's a success trait that you have to learn to change. And if you can't, these are all learned skills. You can train yourself to be in that mindset. You just have to take the time, and you have to be willing to do so. So does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, so you beautifully brought us back on topic there, Yuli.
Awesome. Well, I just want to do that because we're up on our hour, and unfortunately we had some technical difficulties today, and we lost. Steve had to go on another call, but thanks, Steve, for being here. We lost Sri to some technical difficulties, and then luckily we got Leslie back, but we lost Jill. So we kind of got 3 out of 3, which I'm pretty happy about, and I don't know what happened today, but it is what it is, and we'll have to continue on. But I just want to kind of bring this to a close because we've been on for about an hour. And Leslie, you have any last words on what you'd like to, on success, achievement, and celebrating your achievements and moving forward and anchoring that emotion and stuff like that?
Well, life is a learning curve, and all we've got to do is just go with it. And it's great what you just said about, some people don't want to change. Some people wouldn't even think about changing. But I'm glad I have, and it's the best thing I've ever done personally. And I would say try it, read something positive, try and change your mindset, even if it's just on one single thing. It makes you feel a whole lot better about life in general, and just go for it and give it a go, just on one single thing. And see if that works for you, because it certainly helped me in my situation, and give me a more positive outlook to life, and a lot more to look forward to, which I should have been looking forward to it anyway, but it's now been pointed out. And so now I just appreciate every single day, and I think that's what you should do, is appreciate every single day. We're a lot better off than a lot of people. So that's my final words.
That's awesome. And you should be proud of yourself too, Leslie. I mean, like you said, it's not easy to change because you have to accept the fact that you need to change.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. That's one of the most difficult things about change, is that, changing would be easy if I didn't have to admit that I was wrong, so that I have to change.
That's right.
But that's a tough thing for a lot of people to admit. Is like, all right, I actually need to change. So that's the hard part. But once you get past that, once you subdue your ego and you could say, okay, I do need to change because I'm not content where I am in life, and the only way to break that pattern is to change that pattern. So that's a great point. You should totally be proud of yourself for being able to do that, and also be proud of the fact that you're going to be able to make other people take that same step and make that same decision, which is going to be life-changing for them as well. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Sandra, any last words for you?
Yeah, my last words would be to anyone who's out there who's listened to us today, and you like the thought of celebrating little wins that you have, and you've just realised, by listening to us that, a win doesn't necessarily mean putting in a lottery ticket or putting a bet on a horse. A win can be just waking up and having full movement of your, of your physical extremities and being able to shower yourself and whatnot. Celebrate them. Hey, celebrate them. Do not care what anyone thinks. Run around and go, and start singing, woohoo, I feel good, or a song that inspires you. Just, anything through the day at all, that is just a little victory, a little win. Even if you're at a crappy job that you really don't like and you really, really are looking to get out of it, but you're at that crappy job and, you're trying to, perform a task at that job that most people think is not going to be performed. It's just not doable, and you happen to manage to find a way around around it and doing it. Celebrate it. Sing out in the office, go, yes, I am so good. Yes, I nailed you. Celebrate your wins. You have the right to do that, because that, at the end of the day, all these successful people that you consider to be very financially wealthy and happy, that is what they do in their life. They openly let themselves and others around them know that they have succeeded, and they're not afraid to do so. Now, some people can think that to be arrogance, or you got whatever. But it's not. It's just their way of assuring themselves on the inside that they are on the right path, they are following the path for their dreams, and they will have everything that they desire if they just keep, being grateful to themselves for taking the actions and getting it accomplished. So yes, celebrate who you are, be grateful for your life, be grateful for the small things in your life, and celebrate any little wins that you have throughout your life. That's all I would have to say.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you guys have great energy, and that's an important part of it too. Is you have to keep that energy level high. You have to keep that vibration, really high. That higher vibration is where you're gonna find the more positive stuff. If you notice, the more positive people in life are a little more energetic. The more negative people in life are a little bit more. So it starts with that simple step. Just pick up pick up your chin, pick up your shoulders, step back a little bit, and just pick up your energy level just that little bit, and then that usually is enough to get you up off your feet and to get you to the next step, and then take action. And then taking action is where the real magic is. Taking action, knowledge is just knowledge, but applied knowledge is the action. So, education, dedication, be determined, stick to what you know, surround yourself with the right people, surround yourself with people that are aligned with your goals. And get yourself to that higher energy level, and whether it's take a walk around the block, or walk your dog, or do a couple jumping jacks, shake it out, do something to get yourself to that next energy level, like these ladies are, and like everybody on our panel seems to be, and that's how you get to that next point in life. That's how you get to that point where you're like, okay, I do feel as though I need to start changing things around myself. I need a better diet. I need to start exercising. I need to start working, even if it's your job. I need to start working harder at work, doing my job to the best of my ability. So yeah, maybe you can get that promotion that you want, and then you'll start to see that everything starts at that, raising that energy level up, and then everything starts to escalate from there. So thanks everybody for being here. Thanks everybody for joining us for this hangout. And Sandra, Leslie, Sri, Jill, thank you for trying to get on, and Steve, thank you all for being here. And we will see you next week at the same time with episode number 43. And hopefully we get to talk to Sri and Steve a little bit more, maybe some other people about the event they just went to in Miami, in Florida, in the U.S. And from what I understand, there was some incredible stuff going on there. So celebrate your wins, set milestones, and celebrate them as you hit them, and just anchor that emotion and just raise that energy level, guys. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.